Okay, news has just broken that the IBF junior welterweight champion Ivan Baranchyk has pulled out of the World Boxing Super Series. The news has been reported from ESPN states that Baranchyk is leaving the tournament due to frustrations over financial issues. A semi-final round that was supposed to take place between January and March still hasn't been scheduled, and he's also concerned about a lack of communication from the tournament organisers. Um, this is pretty devastating news, in my view, to the tournament. I have to recall that they're they're currently in the semi-final stage, and going from what happened in the first season, that would have been scheduled to take place between January and February. In fact, that was exactly what happened. The season one semi-finals took place in January and February. We're now pretty much into the beginning of February, and unfortunately, there hasn't actually been any tournament staged for the semi-finals in all three weight classes. So obviously, we had the cruiserweights, the super lightweights, and the bantamweight. Um, but none of those events have actually been scheduled, so we don't even actually have dates for when these fights are due to be scheduled, um, um, let alone when they're actually going to take place. So this is really bad news, and having someone of the stature of even Baranchyk coming out of that tournament spells really serious troubles for the tournament, whether it's actually going to go ahead. You have to recall that in that particular weight class, the junior welterweight class, or as also called the super lightweight class, um, Ivan Baranchyk is one of the two belt holders in that weight class in the tournament. The other one being KIRYL, who holds the WBA Super World Championship title. You recall that the champions, in fact, the four champions in that weight class were KIRYL, who obviously holds the WBA title, Ivan Baranchyk, obviously with the IBF, and the two who aren't in the WBSS are basically Jose Ramirez from the United States, who holds the WBC belt, and Maurice Hooker, also from the United States, who holds the WBO belt. The question is, can either of those two go into the tournament at this latest stage? Will they be interested in going into it, knowing that the reason why Ivan Baranchyk pulled out of the tournament was due to concerns around um, financial issues and not possibly not being paid, um, and also because there has been a lack of communication as to when the next event is going to take place. Um, some other thoughts about this tournament. The first one was excellent. I think most boxing fans who follow this sport ardently know that the first tournament was brilliant. First season was brilliant. It had exciting fights. Were we were able to witness the creation, effectively the crowning of the undisputed cruiserweight champion in Alexander Usyk. That was a really good story to follow, and we actually learned a lot about that particular weight division. It shed light on a weight division which no one was really that particularly bothered or interested in. Certainly not from the United States or indeed the UK, but it shed a light on that division, made it look very good, and it really does play a role. In my opinion, it is probably the best way of getting to know who's the best in a particular weight class because of the way and the formats that the tournament takes. I think the problem that the WBSS came across was the fact that it had pretty much a poor take up from the commercial side of things. I recall a number of fights. Some of the events were staged on ITV. I wasn't really sure if the ratings were very good for that. I also recall that some of the events were also put on YouTube, and in fact they ran their shows on their channel on YouTube, and the viewership didn't appear to be that particularly great. Um, there's been a lot of difficulty in securing um, uh, securing one of the broadcasting organisations to either put the show up on TV, and I think that would have hurt them financially. Plus, taking into account the financial rewards being offered to the participants in the tournament, I think all of this must have added up to a real big financial pressure for them, and may well be that their financial resources is running out. And if that's the case, that's a real shame, because this, in my view, is a very good product, and one that really should have been supported. But of course, money talks, and if there isn't money, unfortunately, with all the best will and all the best intentions in the world, it's not going to work. I think it's worth also saying that it's a shame if it doesn't work, because if we go back to the previous tournament, which was the World Boxing Series, the one which had Carl Froch and what's now the other guy? Anyway, it'll come to me later. The one that had Carl Froch and the other guys in, that was a very good tournament, but that had its flaws, and I think they just about got the balance right in this particular tournament with WBSS, because it's a knockout format, and as opposed to the other one, which was more of head to head, and you'd have fighters fighting twice and then having two losses on their record, which is totally unnecessary. So I think they got the balance right this time round, but of course, unfortunately for them, the issue here is finances and getting viewerships up. And I feel that if they persevere, that it is something that's going to garner a lot of momentum and garner a lot of weight. But if it doesn't, then unfortunately it looks like it's going to fall flat on its face, and that would be a real shame. I wonder whether, if that happens, whether there's likely to be any other organisation that tries to attempt this again. And if it doesn't, it's a real crime shame, because for once we are able to cut through all the crap with the promotional outfits, not wanting to fight between each other. We've been able to cut through all of that crap with the WBSS. It's really been a breath of fresh air, and I feel that losing something of this importance is a real blow for boxing as a whole. That's my view on it, and it's a shame. I do hope that whatever issues that they have gets resolved, but I'm really doubtful about it. I really doubt that that's going to happen. I feel that this is the beginning of the end of the road for what is effectively a very promising and very exciting product. It's a shame to see a product like that just die a really painful death. But let's hope I'm wrong, and let's hope it carries on, because it has been a real breath of fresh air for boxing. Anyway, let me hear your thoughts on this. Of course, please subscribe and like and comment. Peace out.